So I've been feeling a little bit under the weather, but I'm recuperating, and it's also Thanksgiving holiday. So what better way than to avoid all the frigid garbage out there than to watch a certain pre-Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson movie? Meet the Feebles, meet the Feebles. Welcome to the jungle. More carnality from the director of Bad Taste. That one is coming. Substance presents a film by Peter Jackson. Let's see, an undeniable sick delight. You're not likely to see another movie like this ever again. From Empire, it's rude, it's lewd. It's set to see a huge cult hit. The wildest puppet film yet from Daily Sport. Meet the Feebles, a puppet tragedy of gross proportions, relates the fateful events that lead to an infamous Feebles variety massacre, a day that rocked the puppet world. Bletch, a cigar-chomping walrus, has his hands full with his cast of egocentric showbiz stars. When you've got an incompetent, panic-stricken fox as a director, a junky knife-throwing frog, and a hare with a fatal disease as MC, things do not look sunny. But Bletch's biggest problem is his star with longtime lover Heidi the Hippo, who suspects that he's having an affair with a Siamese cat named Samantha. With 2 failed suicide attempts and their mental balance totally destroyed, Heidi makes an unannounced entrance center stage. Just to give you an idea, 22,000 people have watched on the IMDb, so I would say yes, this is definitely a cult movie. To me, using the Michigan E library, I think either one or 2 libraries out of 400 branches had it. Let's give you an idea of the obscurity. This, I would describe it as if Jim Henson was not obligated to produce G-rated content, because, I enjoy the Muppets, but at the same time, what if he did something that was truly obscene and legendary? We got kind of close with, what was that, the Dark Crystal or something like that? Anyway, this is just New Zealand humor. It's crass, but it's great. This was originally promoted to be a TV series for a Japanese company, and reluctantly they also decided to make it into a movie, which is then highlighted in like the last second of script change that they did, and of course it went a little over budget, even though it was a tiny budget because of the puppet variety and things like that. When you want to talk about puppets with different personalities, we've got them all. We've got the naive hedgehog Robert and the poodle who wants to come in. They're like the only likable characters. Okay, maybe this one right here he's fine. The star of the show is this hippo with a machine gun. Just the fact that, it's like, it reveals what's going on inside the showbiz world, if you will. It's like, what happens eventually when you let the fame get to you? Never get high on your own supply. That's what happens, And, it's like they're trying to keep the crew together. It's like the walrus is trying to keep the crew together, but everything is fractures in between. A pastiche Bugs Bunny character, really. It is pretty funny to see that. He's addicted, and it turns out he's just got like rabbit pox at the end. Spoilers, whoop-de-doo. Just the amount of carnage in this movie. There is just the amount, just like all the sex, all the drugs. This is just straight up I guess you could call it an adult, pretty much an adult puppet show that was done with, what was that, the Happy Time Murders, I think in 2018, All Street, No Sesame. But this, honestly, I think was probably done even better than that. Just in the sense, like, all the characters interact, they all have their own defined moments. Heidi, Bletch, and also a bulldog. Actually, people inside costumes. So that actually looks really good too. Would this fall more in the juvenile, like edgy stuff, or adult showcasing what's going on I would say both. Because, you know, it kind of deals with some adult topics like drug trafficking, affairs, drug abuse, breaking into the world, the corruption that Hollywood, whatever the New Zealand equivalent of Hollywood is. You know, that's on display. But, yeah. I mean, just the ending alone. With, when Heidi acknowledges that Bletch had an affair, she grabs the machine gun and just goes to town and decimates all the unlikable people. These aren't even like the likable scuzzballs. These are detestable people. I mean, it's like for the last 10, 15 minutes. Goes to town, annihilates the Feebles sect, and done in a glorious, grand way. There's even shell case porn of where the cases drop out, which was pretty freaking cool to see at least a couple of times, you know? And, there's also an interesting golf course scene where they kind of just trick each other, I guess is the best way to describe it. You know, it's, what struck me the most was the unexpected, the deer hunter, flashback about, 35 minutes in, where they do showcase the type of imaginations. Like, if you may as well go over the top, you may as well parody the most unexpected movie, The Deer Hunter, which will be coming up within time. And let's do it in a good way. I mean, if I had to guess, my personal favorite scene would be when they are trying to meet, when the Bulldog and Bletch are trying to acquire more drug supplies, and there's just this whole scene at, like a wharf, you know? And at this wharf, there's like just carnage all over. There's a spider. There's this gargantuan whale. I guess it's known as Mr. Big. I mean, it's a thrill-a-minute chase. And there's also the rat Trevor, who I found out was doing which they did an impression of Peter Lorre. Yes, really. Like, yes, it's me, Peter Lorre. Who's also the scientist on a couple of Looney Tunes episodes, which I need to watch of his movies. Anyway, I mean, this movie is just balls to the wall insanity. It's sick, it's grotesque, but it handles some things well. Surprisingly, not a lot of swearing. I was taken aback by that. Some things people may not like. Well, it's an R-rated comedy, okay? There's going to be, I mean, it goes by really quickly. But maybe the unexpected, like, the Deer Hunter flashback reference may turn a little people off. And I guess a couple of characters are seen that are minor that just don't add too much. And it's like a snake charmer guy, just doesn't add much. I'm just like, whatever. So, you know. And, you know, at times it kind of vacillated between, like, juvenile and adult. So, it was I felt like it was trying to find that mixture. But this movie knows exactly what it is. And honestly, I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. It's a fun, crass movie. And, if you want to see Peter Jackson, I mean, last thing he appeared an episode of the Muppets where they actually, 2023 show, where they referenced Meet the Feebles, where they said where a couple of them were at. And, I found that to be very funny and kind of a cool acknowledgement. So, yeah. So, if you want a crass, half-juvenile / half-adult movie with some great puppets, that's the inverse of Jim Henson's The Muppets, then I recommend that you watch Meet the Feebles.